Well, I went to the doctor this morning for my hives. I'll link the video down below. That's just kind of an introduction to one of the things I go through on a fairly regular basis. I have a condition called chronic idiopathic urticaria, and it just means that every now and then I break out in hives for some reason. I don't know exactly what the trigger is, but it tends to happen in the spring. And while it doesn't happen every year, sometimes when it happens, it literally lasts for years, especially without treatment, right? Because I've been to more than a dozen doctors over my lifetime trying to figure out what was causing me to have the hives. And it wasn't until I was in my 50s that I went to an allergist who had been chasing the hives for about 3 years. And his PA finally said, "Why don't we send you to a dermatologist?" And I went to the dermatologist, and his PA saw me, and she said, "Well, yeah, it's hives, but I don't know what to do about it. So here's a regimen for you to practice, and it will help." And she gave me a list of things to do. So I said, "Well, why don't you take a few pictures of my hives right now so that when I come back, if the regimen works, then, well, I guess Jasha's done with her dinner." Yeah, I fed her in a cast iron pan. That is our pre-cleaning, and then I'll go clean it later. There was some pretty good stuff in there. So anyway, that particular dermatologist said, or the PA said, "This is the regimen." And she gave me 2 prescriptions for creams. One of them is a steroid cream, and the other, ketoconazole, is for skin conditions. And then I was supposed to take 2 antacids. One of them was Pepcid every day. I was supposed to take a 24-hour daytime allergy pill and a nighttime allergy pill. And I had to do that regimen every day while I had the rash. And it worked. It took a really long time for it to go away, but it did eventually work. So I was happy about that. Oh, she's back to see if there's more stuff in her little dish. And she's going to go lie down, I suppose. So anyway, I came back, I think 2 weeks later, and the dermatologist took a look at me, and most of the hives were in fact gone with that regimen, but he wasn't sure what had caused it. So I said, well, the PA took pictures of me, and the thing was, their computer was down the day I went to see the PA. So she said, well, I can't take pictures of you with my iPad. And I said, do you have a phone? Can you just take some pictures and put them on your phone? And we kind of laughed about her having pictures of this old woman's body on her phone. But anyway, I let her take pictures of me. They were as modest as could be, considering she was taking pictures of most of my upper body. Anyway, so the doctor took one look at the pictures that were on her phone, and he said, oh yeah, that's urticaria. It's an autoimmune disorder. And he's just rattled off the cause of it. He said, you know, obviously there's a trigger, and it's probably an environmental trigger. And he said 8% of people, was it 8%? No, 15% of people in their lifetime, here's my other doggie, she just had dinner. 15% of people in their lifetime will have one unexplained outbreak of hives in their life, and it'll go away and they'll be fine. Of those 15%, 8% have what's called chronic idiopathic urticaria, and that is when the hives come back again and again and again. I'm that special. So I knew that's what was going on with me here. It started in late February, which is probably because something was blooming that I'm allergic to, and my body decided to overreact. Instead of just sneezing and getting watery, itchy eyes, I decided to break out in a beautiful rash of hives. And it is now April 8th, 9th, 7th, I don't know. It's April, end of the first week of April. And I still have this terrible issue with the hives. So she gave me a shot. I got a steroid shot, and she sent me home with a prescription for steroid pills, and she refilled my ketoconazole because it had expired. I'm very happy. Now, I don't do the antacids anymore because Pepcid makes me have like dementia-like symptoms. It makes me very foggy brained, and I really did feel like I was losing my mind when I was doing the Pepcid. So I don't do the full regimen anymore. So the rash never goes away. I just do the topicals and I take the allergy pills. But without that Pepcid, it just doesn't seem to work. So the shot hopefully is working, and hopefully the pills will work and the rash will go away. So far, I'm not noticing anything from the shot, and I can't start taking the pills until tomorrow. But hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days, the rash will at least stop getting worse and start to go back. This is the first doctor that has given me steroids to treat this. Last year, he gave me a prescription for oral prednisone. I'm 62. I started having this problem when I was around 11 or 12. I had such a terrible outbreak when I was in high school that I missed class because my back was just inflamed so bad I could not concentrate. I was miserable, and there was no treatment for me back then. The doctor just told me, I went to a dermatologist back then, so it would have been the 1970s. He said, just stop. You're probably allergic to perfumes in shampoo, because it was all down my back. So he said, don't use any shampoo with perfumes in it. At the time, I think there was one on the market. It was Dove, and I stopped using perfumes in shampoo, and I haven't used any since if I can avoid it. And yes, I am allergic to perfumes, but that wasn't what caused the rash, most likely. Or maybe it was, I don't know. But he didn't offer me prednisone. I had a rash over probably 60% of my trunk, being from my pelvis up to my neck, for several years. And a couple different doctors saw it, and nobody ever prescribed prednisone for me. I just had to muscling through 6 or 7 years of a horrible rash is a very difficult way to live. Oh gosh. So anyway, I'm on prednisone today, and I will be starting the prednisone pills tomorrow. I know that it's not a good idea to be on steroids a lot, so hopefully this is just an annual event and it's not something that happens multiple times. Oh, and last year's outbreak was actually, I went to the doctor in May, so it would have been April, but I had a lot of gluten exposures, and it was right after my major intestinal surgery. I had a partial colonectomy last year. It was the second one in a year, and recovering from the surgery and recovering from the effects of everything going on with the surgery, and then eating a bunch of gluten without knowing it, I ended up breaking out in terrible, terrible hives on my legs that time. It was the only time I've ever broken out really badly, on my legs only. And it took me a little while to go to the doctor, but finally got to the point where I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. And that, I think, was when I realized it was a gluten exposure. And that would have been something called herpetiformis, anyway, herpetiformis is the name of the rash because it looks like herpes. It's not, but it looks like it. So yay for my team. Anyway, that's my story of prednisone. That's my story of being treated or mistreated or not treated, untreated. And I'm finally at a place where, even though my doctor is an osteopath and he doesn't automatically go to medication, a lot of times he will look for other ways, more natural ways to help. He and his PA both recognize that this is not something I want to be living with. It's just miserable. So I'm very happy that they're both okay with giving me the prednisone when I need it. And I'm really hopeful that it'll take care of my problem. I will link you to the first one. As I said, it'll be at the bottom of this screen. You can click on it. And thank you for watching. I hope you don't suffer with it, but if you do, let me know, and let me know what has helped you, if you've had to go to the prednisone or if you've been able to get through it some other way. Maybe the regimen works for you with the over-the-counter and the prescriptions and all that. But if you're a fellow sufferer, trust me, we have a lot to talk about, so let me know. Vicky, she's part deaf. Vicky, say goodbye. She's a bye.